Good evening and welcome out everyone to tonight's tackle trading onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank, as usual, hanging out here with you on a Monday night to take you through the tackle trading platform. Those of you who are new to tackle trading, those of you who are checking us out for the first time or maybe ran into us over on YouTube, giving our free trial a shot, always can be helpful to just kind of walk through the site a little bit. So that is what I will be doing with you all this evening. As we're moving along, I won't keep you too terribly long, but if you do have any questions, I will, of course, do my best to answer them for you. I should have my chat up here momentarily. Let's kind of dive right in. But before we do, thank you for hanging out with me here tonight, and I hope you had a great day both in and out of the market. At the end of the day, all tackle trading is a community of traders that have come together to help each other out, to share ideas, share the ups and downs. While no one can ever do your trading for you or my trading for me, we can definitely be there for each other, answer each other's questions, help each other out. And that's what I personally love about tackle trading. I love trading, I love charting, and I love talking and with people who like it too. Just, I guess, is an easy way to put it. I'm always game to talk a little trading. So as we get diving in, I would just like to really quick highlight the Huddle podcast. Each morning, we will do the Huddle podcast. You'll get that right over there at the Huddle. It's a quick 10-minute top 5 stories of the trading day. You can listen to the podcast on any of your major providers. You can, of course, also just listen to it right over there. Did that myself this morning. Always easy access, at least for me, who's not too tech savvy and not much of a podcaster. Very much worth checking out. Get the top stories in just the very beginning of the trading day in a quick rapid fire format. So that's the Huddle. And Eli, not a whole lot, and welcome out, buddy. Good to see you. Hope you had a nice weekend. The real thing is, and let's kind of start there, Eli, and I'll kind of explain this to you. Almost everything that we do is available to our pro members. There is just a couple of exceptions, and they are our premium systems. And that's when you see the premium there, Eli, that's what it's referring to. These are premium systems. And what they are is kind of a one-time purchase. The system is yours for life. Once a month, we get together with members of that team in a mastermind group. The Tackle 25 is a covered call-based system on a very select group of stocks we put together each year and review every quarter, really specifically with the idea of selling covered calls on. The STEP system is our swing trading system, just standing for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. The cash flow condors is another cash flow system, this time on the Russell 2000 small cap index. And the bear market survival guide is kind of protecting our long-term portfolio, as well as finding ways to profit in bearish market conditions. These, like I said, they're really one-time purchases. Everything involved in that system is yours for life. If you want a little more information on any of them, send us an email to team@tackletrading.com. You can head over to the store, get a little bit more information about any of those systems or their prices as well. Pretty much, Eli, that's the only thing that's not going to be available to you as a pro member. So everything else from our courses, our shows, everything else that we're going to talk about here tonight, you should have access to. And if for whatever reason you don't, it's probably a technology, revolt. It does happen. So, if you're trying to do one of the courses or if you're trying to, hit up one of the shows or something and having a problem, send us an email. We can see if we can get that ironed out. So, and hopefully as we kind of go through everything here tonight, it can kind of clear it up in a little bit more detail for you, Eli. But that is the premium systems, and that's really all the time I want. I always like to highlight them, so I'm glad you brought them up. Because they are the things that aren't included in our pro membership. While we're in the courses, let's just talk courses. We've got several, as you can kind of see here, that are available to all of our pro members. And in the case of the 7-Step Guide to Trading, to everybody out there. If you haven't had a chance to go through the 7-Step Guide to Trading course, this is a really good place to start. Whether you're a vet or a brand new trader, it kind of will, I guess in some ways, and maybe this is just my words, but I kind of think about it as kind of sharing, kind of the tackle trading philosophy, the tackle trading way, if you will, the way that we approach the markets. Now, I mean, obviously, no two traders are going to be exactly the same, right? And that's to be expected, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think philosophically, as a community here, we do believe in taking that top-down approach, starting at the top of the market, choosing a strategy that fits our read of the situation and the current market conditions. How do we find, we're big watch list traders, right? We'll kind of identify trade setups and look to trade them or wait for those triggers to develop, planning the trade, having a game plan, of course, placing and managing the trade, and ultimately journaling the trade. This is a short 2-hour course. It's not a particularly long course. It's one of those I think everyone can benefit from, no matter what level of experience you may or may not have in the market. Always encourage people to check that one out. Beyond that, you'll find a course on technical analysis. As traders, I mean, that matters a lot, right? I mean, that's how we're determining where we're getting in, where we're setting our stop losses, how we're moving our stop losses potentially, how we're targeting. Trading's a little different than long-term investing, right? I'm not going to just sit through a rough stretch in a trade, right? Maybe in my long-term portfolio, I've got to deal with some ups and downs. Fair enough. In my short-term swing trades, no, I need to have very decisive, repeatable game plans, right? So the more we understand technical analysis and the more comfortable we are, I think the better we're going to find ourselves as traders. In addition to the actual course itself, I always like to bring this one up. Over in the shows tab, there is the Tackle 100 series live webinars. And in here, you're going to find several recorded webinars, including the two-parter of Technical Analysis 101. Is going to be the same content that, they're the same concepts that are over in the course itself, just taught a little different way, right? A little bit of a webinar format. This two-parter is about 4 hours in total, give or take. It goes pretty deep into the technical analysis side of things. Again, every one of us, I've never met a trader that's never wrong, right? We can always get a little bit better with our charting skills. While we're in here, there's a swing trading webinar in here that can kind of build upon those things in technical analysis, talking, about setting up, those entries, those entry points, stop loss placements, targeting, trade identification, all of that fun stuff. Is what will be going on over there. A futures webinar, if you're ever interested in doing that. We have several step system webinars in here again, and that is our swing trading system. So if you wanted to kind of see a little bit more what it was about, a great place to do that and help you develop some swing trading rules as well. There's an options course, right? The more we understand about options when we're trading them, probably the better we're going to do with trading them. The options course is really going to focus on the contract itself and the factors that move that contract, right? How does time decay impact it, right? How does volatility impact it? How does movement impact it? So it's really going to focus on the contract itself. We'll talk strategies here in just a moment, but the Options 101 course is really going to focus, more specifically on understanding that contract. And believe me, as someone who's went through the options, when you truly understand why the options do what they do, it does make the strategies a little easier, at least in my mind. We have a Futures 101 course. If you've ever been interested in the futures or the Forex market, I've talked to a lot of traders over the years that, just felt those markets they were just too big or too scary or too whatever. That's not true. We can trade whatever we want. That doesn't mean we have to, right? You don't have to trade, the futures market. There's plenty of other things we can do, but I don't ever want someone to feel like they can't, that it's too complicated, it's too complex for them. So if you've ever been interested in learning more about, trading over in the commodities market or in the currency market, the Futures and the Forex 101 course can be great introductions to how those markets behave, what that leverage looks like, all of that fun stuff. No matter what you're trading, we do need to have very clear systems, right? We need clear rules, we need clear systems, and that's what we're going to discuss in the system development course. We all, I think, understand the importance of having trading systems and trading rules. I've never talked to somebody who just said, now let's just wing it and hope for the best, but we're all people too. And if we're not careful, we can let, our emotions run away with us, all of the negative things that can come with this. And so the more we understand building systems, the more confident we are in the systems that we're using, the easier it is to combat those very human emotions that we always have to deal with, right? We're always going to be people until the, until the very end. So no matter what you're trading, I would definitely encourage you to take some time to go through that system development course. It really is a helpful course in training you to kind of think a little bit more like a systems developer and a systems builder when it comes to your trading. Beyond, and I saw your question, Eli. I'll get to it here in just a minute as we kind of talk schedule. But before we do that, we do blog content every week. And hey, Henry, welcome out. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and great to have you here, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Not everything has to be a course, right? Blog content is going to be fast reads, 5-6 minute type of reads. Nothing, I guess probably depend on how fast you read, but probably a fair expectation for that. Just another way to share ideas, highlight what's going on in the market, whether it's, more charting over in Tales of Technician, more on options over in the option theory, hearing from Coach Greg over in the Rookie Corner, or the awesome Women in Trading and Coach Emily over in the Women in Trading blog. Just another way to share ideas and to bounce, things around with one another. So most of these do come out on a weekly basis on the blog side of things. So going to have that as well beyond the courses themselves. Before we talk schedule, just a couple of things here. I want to just point out really quick. The Clubhouse is kind of our own personal social media, if you will. And so it's where you can, go in, ask questions, ask for help, share ideas, share what's going on, right? It's just us. It's just trading. We leave all the other stuff away. And it's nice to have a place that, you can go talk trading with traders, right? I invite everyone to join us in the Clubhouse. Pro member or not, you're certainly more than welcome to join us over in the Clubhouse. In the Trade Center, you're going to find a few different things. You'll find a link to our trading glossary, a link to our trade journals, a link to the events calendar, which we'll probably come back to before we wrap up here tonight. You'll also find the playbook, the Tackle Trading Playbook, and this is where you'll find all of our strategies. We break our strategies into 3 core areas. You're going to find Delta, Theta, and Vega. So it's based off of the option Greeks, right? Delta is directional. So if you're newer to options and don't understand the Greeks, when you think D, think direction, right? Delta, buying a stock, that's a Delta trade. Buying calls or buying put options, doing, debit spreads or ratio spreads, movement-based strategies, right? I expect this stock to go from 50 to 55, for example. Then you're going to have Theta, or this time side of it, right? That's what's cool about options, is we can sell them, right? We can, I can sell you that premium and bring that in up front. That's going to be things like covered calls, credit spreads, naked puts, iron condors, basically where we're profiting by the passage of time. So that's going to be the Theta side. And then the Vega, or the volatility side, right? Think earnings. I always think earnings, at least. I'm not a big volatility trader myself, but I always think earnings when I think Vega. We've all seen some pretty crazy things, right? in movement, not just on earnings, but earnings can definitely be one of those catalysts where we don't necessarily have a strong opinion which way it's going to move. We just think it's going to move substantially, maybe based off of its history, or maybe the market thinks it's going to move a ton, but we think the market's wrong. We think, that seems like you're wishful thinking there, market. So these are going to be based off of the volatility of the stock or the instrument that you're trading, and not, the time or the directional side of things. In all of these, you'll have a video where we will go over, what the strategy is, why we would choose that strategy, what our rules for the strategy are. There will be an example using the Thinkorswim platform. So if you're using TOS, we'll have an example of how to get the order set up as well, kind of walk you through the whole process. There's also, a little cheat sheet, little downloadable PDF, so you can have easy access to the rules, or at least our rules, for any of those strategies. You will notice, all of them will have a, +1 to +2, 0 to +2, -1 to -3, right? And we always want to match the strategy to our read of the situation, right? So if you think about, 0, the way I think about it, at least, 0 is flat neutral, right? Don't have an opinion. Plus or -1 would be slightly bullish or slightly bearish. 2 or +2 would be normal or moderately bullish, or -2 bearish, and 3 or -3 would be very, right? I really like this. I really expect this to move a lot. So I'd like to match the strategy to my read of the situation. So that's what you're seeing there, kind of where we feel that strategy fits on that scale of 0 to 3 or -3. So if you're brand new to options, my advice is take it one at a time. Don't try to learn them all at once. That can become very overwhelming. I've never met anybody, myself included, and believe me, I tried to figure out 17 strategies all at once. So there is the playbook. In the Trade Center itself, if you just click on the Trade Center, this will kind of bring you to a what's up at Tackle Trading page. What's our next show, most recent post, most recent report, most recent tweet. There is a little watch list function in here if you want to use it. Obviously you're going to be doing your charting wherever you do your charting, but if you want to kind of have just easy access, kind of web-based, if you're heading into Tackle Trading, if you do want to do that, all you'll do is you'll just throw your symbol in there. I'll just now left click it to highlight it. I'll hit this little plus button and that will now add it to there. Oh, it was already in there. Now let's just do another one just to make sure I'm doing it right. We'll just go FCX here. All right, one FCX in our watch list. Now we'll highlight it and hit that plus button. If I decide I don't want them in there anymore, I'll just left click them and say it was fun while it lasted. Now I'll just highlight it again and I'll just hit the minus button. That will get rid of that as well. So not everyone uses that watch list, but I do like to show people how to use it if you're going to do that. There will be a replay or a live showing of one of our YouTube shows, where that's us right there, it looks like. So little upcoming schedule, where you are on any of your courses, just to kind of help you keep organized if you're kind of working through multiple things. Over in the market Skyline, you will find the index charts, right? The S&P futures, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, Bitcoin, the emerging markets, the major commodities, gold, silver, crude, copper, as well as the sector spider ETFs, just kind of a one-stop shop for all kind of the big things within the market. So we can kind of track, hey, what did it do today? What's doing overall? That type of stuff. You, of course, don't need to look at all of this stuff here at Tackle Trading. It's nice that it's here, but these are important things to look at as traders, right? So we do want to have them. There's a news aggregator that's going to go through some of the financial websites, CNBC, Market Watch, the Times, Wall Street Journal, and kind of just get their headlines for us, so we can do an easy browse instead of having to bounce through a bunch of different websites. I can just kind of roll down until something catches my eye, and then I can click on it. There's a link to an economic calendar, a link to our weekend reports. We'll talk more about them here in a few minutes. A link to our trade journals. We did see that on the drop down, you can find the trade journals. If you do go into the trade journals directly through the Trade Center, like we're doing right now, you will find the video to kind of take you through with that. If you need some help as far as getting comfortable with how to use that platform. And no, not one-on-one coaching, Eli. We do have a coaching program that we are launching, but that is not included in our pro membership. That is a different program altogether. If you want a little more information, I'd email Mark, team at Tackle Trading, and let him know that you're interested, and then he can kind of get you going on that side. So yeah, we don't do one-on-one. As much fun as it is to do one-on-one, we do not do that, at least as pro members. So that is the trade journals. It is important to journal your trades. Make sure you're doing that. The trade journals, if you come into it this way, you can download them in here as well. If you just scroll down, the download will be right there. You'll find the trade journal. That's kind of what we're seeing up here. That's where we can kind of, hey, this is what I did when I did it, how many shares I bought, all of that fun stuff. The theta research for our cash flow trade, so we can kind of compare apples to apples, if you will. Portfolio journal to help you keep organized. So you just select the tab you want, and you can download them directly from here in this page as well. There's a link to the compounding gains calculator, a link to a chart if you ever need one, another link to our glossary, a link to the search function, which is also this little guy right up here. It's a little magnifying glass, will allow you to search for anything that you're looking for. You will also find a link directly over to tradingjustice.com, where you can catch the Trading Justice podcast. Each week, Matt, Mark, and Tim do the Trading Justice podcast. It is a lot of fun. It's very informative stuff. You can find the Trading Justice podcast on any of your major providers. You can also listen to it directly over on their site, which is what I do. There's also a really nice monthly newsletter that they do over at tradingjustice.com that is definitely worth checking out as well. So definitely a lot of fun over at tradingjustice.com. So there's just some different tools. The Trade Centers just kind of have a lot of, the things that we're going to use regularly all in one spot, right? With the news aggregator, the market, Skyline, charts, all of that fun stuff. Again, we're going to have our places that we all go individually for this stuff, but kind of want to save ourselves some clicks. So with all of that said, let's kind of shift gears and talk schedule. Certainly, Eli, this will be a big part of, after you've done the courses. I know you brought that question up a little bit ago, why you might hang around. We're going to be live with our team each market day and every single week in a variety of different ways. Of course, starting kind of on the daily schedule, every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern time, we get together in our Traders Lounge. We'll get together and just answer our team's questions, right? And so maybe you're struggling with a particular strategy and it'd be helpful to have somebody walk you through it. We can do that. Maybe you've got a trade set up you want to get some other eyeballs on, or you're managing a trade and kind of want to bounce ideas around with the members of the team. Maybe you are struggling with portfolio design. I mean, who knows what our questions will be, right? We all have them, and certainly understandable that we all do. And we need a place where we can, have honest discussions about them. That's exactly what we're doing in this Traders Lounge each market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. This is the one show that we don't record regularly, although we will record snippets and get them posted in here as well. And so if your schedule is such, hey, Frank, listen, I'm at work at 11 a.m. Eastern, I can never join the Traders Lounge. Let us know, say, hey guys, I can't make it, but I could really use help on this. Let us know. And we'll always do our best to accommodate our team. We can, answer your question. We can get it snipped and placed in here for you to catch up when you need, when you have an opportunity to do so. So don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have a situation like that. But just, it's one of those things that no one's really going to go back and listen to the Traders Lounge from a year ago, right? And there's one, because there's one basically every market day. I think that's probably why we don't record them, but we will do the snippet. So we're doing that over here each market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're always welcome in there. You're always welcome to ask any questions you want. There's nothing too basic, nothing too advanced. Always feel free to bring your questions to us over there. And then, of course, shortly after the lounge is over at 12:30 Eastern, we do head back over here to YouTube, where we do the tackle trading halftime report. I know I've seen you, Eli, in there before. And it's good to see you here tonight, my friend. Might have seen you as well, Henry. So we basically will go through the market routine, talk about, hey, what's going on in the market today? How is it impacting our charts, stocks in the news, different areas, be it oil, gold, the S&P, right? Just going through that daily routine with our team over here on YouTube. Of course, being on YouTube, it is, live. Once the stream is over, it'll just automatically populate to our channel. A lot of people can't make it live and catch it a little bit later. But we'll be here with you every day that the market's going, whether it's over in the lounge where we're really focused kind of on you and your questions, or over here on YouTube shortly thereafter at 12:30, where we're going through that daily routine with our team. And yeah, so in some ways you can kind of think about it as group coaching. Yeah, I mean, you can bring up anything that you need in there for sure, Eli, and you're always welcome in there. Some people join every single day, right? Some people pop in when they have a question and need some help, and that's really up to you. In a lot of ways, you can build your own tackle trading in my mind. So that's kind of what the daily schedule looks like. If the market's open, you can expect the lounge at 11 and the halftime report at 12:30. Lounge, of course, will be over here at Tackle Trading for our pro members. The halftime report over here on YouTube for everybody as well. Then we have our evening schedule. Of course, on Monday nights, I kind of will just do this just to take people through the site. You're always welcome to join me again, but don't feel obligated by any means. Next week's not going to be a heck of a lot different than this one. It really is just kind of walk through the site and kind of show people, where things are, and, kind of answer some of the questions that you've had, Eli. So you're always welcome. Never feel like you're not, but don't feel obligated to join me. This is a Monday night is our onboarding webinar. Of course, you can catch the replay as well. On Tuesday nights, we do probably what I would consider our flagship show, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday nights, we get together in the Coaches Show. The Coaches Show allows us to do a couple of things. We're a couple days into the market, right, on a Tuesday night, so we can kind of, hey, based off of what we're seeing in the market, what are things looking? Have things changed, right? We've seen great setups over in a particular area, or, is this thing spun out of control? what's going on in the market, right? We can kind of, talk a little bit about that. But what it also allows us to do is take one of the many concepts that's available to us to talk about in trading. And man, there's a ton, right? I mean, whether you're talking strategies, right? Long calls, bull puts, call ratios. I mean, there's a lot of different strategies, indicators, stochastic, RSI, moving average. There's a million indicators, right? Portfolio design, setups, different type of setups, trading retracements, trading breakouts. I mean, there's a million things that we can talk about as traders, right? And what the Coaches Show allows us to do is take, one of those many topics and zero in and have an in-depth conversation on that to help you kind of build out and figure out what kind of you like and what kind of you don't like, right? And so the Coaches Show is a lot of fun and it's very informative. It is live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I would definitely encourage you to check it out. If you can't make it live, schedules are schedules. It is recorded and archived. Just click the link and you can watch this week's episode, last week's episode, an episode from 6 months ago. They're all archived in there if you want to revisit any of them for whatever reason that you might have. So that's on Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Thursday nights, we do our cash flow club once again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. This one is much more narrowly focused on those cash flow strategies, right? Whereas the Coaches Show, I mean, we have a lot of potential topics, right? We're going to zero in. We're not going to try to cover 97 things every night in the Coaches Show by any means. But the cash flow club is really going to be hyper focused on those cash flow plays, building and managing those covered calls, building and managing those credit spreads, building and managing those condors, right? Those type of things. So we really will have a very narrow focus on those cash flow strategies on Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern over in the Cash Flow Club. Again, just like the Coaches Show, it is live, it is recorded, it is archived. You can watch it whenever. You can watch as many old episodes as you would like to do. And so that's kind of on Thursday night. So those are our two main evening shows. On Wednesday nights, we do our Trade Masters webinar over here on our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, where we'll get together. A couple of the coaches will bring 5 trade ideas and bounce them back and forth with Coach Mark and our other team members, here hanging out with us on YouTube. And at the end of it, Coach Mark will declare a winner. It's just a fun way to highlight some trade setups, some trade ideas, and share them with the team. Really, at least for me, I really enjoy watching it. I got to hang out on it last week. I'll be back this week as well. So it's just a fun way to be able to share ideas with our team. That's 7 Eastern live here on YouTube for our Trade Master webinar. We do have a tremendous team of female traders with us at Tackle Trading. Not all of us are female, right? And so, sorry, fellas, you aren't invited just like me, and that's okay. But the Women in Trading team will get together about once a month. They just did one this past Friday in their Women in Trading mastermind group. I don't exactly know what happens in there, but I do know our team. I know they're having a good time. I know they're working hard. If you're a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, it'll certainly invite you to join the next one. It's probably a heck of a lot of fun. Our Mind of a Trader is going to cover a couple of different things. And so the easiest way for me to explain this is going to be to head over to the Trade Center and into the events calendar. Coach Mark does 2 different ones. And so over here in the events calendar, on Fridays, an hour before the close, he gets together with the team in his At the Closing Bell meeting, where he does his commodity report live and just bounces ideas around with the team. We'll look at their ideas. We'll share his ideas going into next week. Just another way to hang out with some traders, ask some questions, share some ideas. That's an hour before the close, 3 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. And then we also have a weekend prep class on Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern. We've, had the futures open, just kind of get together and talk a little bit, hey, going into the very early part of the week, what's it looking like? What's kind of the game plan? Again, can share ideas with one another. Both of those are kind of classified under Mind of a Trader. That's why I came into the events calendar. I think it's a little easier to explain it that way. If you're ever trying to get into one or any other show, you'll just come in and say, hey, you know what? It's time for the Coaches Show. It's Tuesday night. I'll click this. I'll get the information. I'll get the link, and I'll be ready to rock and roll. So our evening stuff and our Friday stuff and our Sunday night thing, those are all exclusive to our pro members. Be it the coaches show, the cash flow club, the closing bell, the weekend prep class, all, of course, the traders lounge each morning. All of these are exclusive to our pro members. And then we have our halftime report each day on YouTube, as well as our Trade Masters webinar on Wednesday nights on YouTube as well. So that's what the schedule looks like, and that's one reason why people like to hang around, I would say. But I guess it's up to everybody as to why they would want to do whatever they wanted to do, right? So the other thing that we're doing is our weekend reports. On Friday, as the market's winding down, we all get together as a team of coaches here, talk markets, talk sectors, talk commodities, talk currencies, talk setups that we're following going into next week, and what we call our scouting report meeting. It's a lot of fun for us coaches. We get just to get in there and talk stock, right? And out of that scouting report meeting comes our weekend reports. That's going to include the newsletter, the stock, options, commodity, and Forex report. We'll get all of these out to you by Saturday afternoon, so you have time to get through any or all of them before the market opens back up the next week. Our newsletter is kind of a look ahead to next week in the market. Again, we take that top-down approach, work our way down, and that's exactly what we're doing in the newsletter. So we'll kind of, let you know what's the storylines that are moving the market right now. Where is it at technically? How do we view that, going into the upcoming week? What does the upcoming economic calendar look like? Any, reports that we might want to keep an eye out for. We'll, of course, always have a video going over all of this stuff with you. And wow, that Friday close nuts, man. It was a crazy close on Friday. So where's the S&P? How are we kind of seeing it? The different ETFs that track the major indexes, DIA for the Dow, QQQ for NASDAQ, IWM for the RUT, SPY for the S&P 500, as well as the sector spiders. So I appreciate that, Eli. I do. That's it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I love being part of taco trading. I love being able to hang out with other traders, man. I'll tell you, it's my pleasure. I've met all sorts of awesome people that I probably wouldn't have been able to meet any other way. And they like talk trading with me. I mean, how much more could I ask for? So you'll find the sector spider ETFs in here as well. If you're unfamiliar with the sector spiders, they can be a pretty good addition to your daily routine. What they are is they're ETFs that track the different sectors within the S&P 500. So for example, XLB is the material sector ETF, XLE, the energy sector ETF. So we'll go into the S&P 500, pull out just the stocks in that sector. We're looking at energy right now, so we'll go with that. Just the Chevrons and Exxons and APAs and whatnot of the world, SLBs, and put them into a portfolio. So we're getting an isolated look at the energy sector, at least within the S&P 500. Just like the S&P 500, these are weighted. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little lower. They are weighted, just like the S&P 500 is. And so it's important to note that, because say, for example, anything that Amazon's so huge, anything it's in is going to have a big impact, right? So XLY, for example, Amazon is a big player in there, and it's definitely weighted more heavily than pretty much, the next several stocks combined. So just if you ever want to take a closer, look at that, you can visit the actual site for the website for the ETF provider. It's just sectorspdr.com. That's the ETF provider's website. You can look at any of the sectors. What are their holdings? How is it weighted? All of that fun stuff. Even if you don't want to trade them, I mean, they are ETFs. They are tradable. They are optionable. I don't really love to trade them myself. I more use them as kind of a guide to kind of say, oh, this looks interesting. This area is shaping up, or this area is kind of throwing me off or looking bearish or whatever. It is a really good addition to a daily routine, in my opinion. You'll find Coach Gino's Arkham high-low indicator in here that looks at the internals of the market. Again, kind of piggybacking off of that, market cap conversation. When you look at something like the S&P, I mean, it's so top heavy, right? Apple, Amazon, Google. I mean, these companies just are so big that they really influence anything that they're in, which is fine, right? As long as we understand it. What the Arkham High Low is going to do is it's going to look at over 8,000 stocks and see, hey, we're looking at the internals of the market, who's, are stocks, making new highs? Are they making new lows? what does the internals of the market look like? Very handy to know the seasonality chart. Hey, historically speaking, what does the market do this time of year? I wish it was as simple as just go with the history. I don't think it is, but I do think it can be important information. From a historical point of view, we should have a good run, right? History would suggest that April's pretty strong before we get into the summer of choppiness. And over the summer, we move a lot, but go nowhere. Now, maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. But, as long as I don't overvalue, I think can be very helpful information. The upcoming earnings will be here, right? What are the big names coming out with earnings? What, kind of much like the overall market, what sectors tend to perform best this month, right? Relative to the others. It doesn't mean that, one has to be bad, one just might be better, right? So kind of, from a historical point of view, what sectors tend to be the strongest. You'll find our rankings for the sector. We can talk you through this in the video, which is always easier to do. But to kind of let you know how to kind of think about this, think about if you're a football fan, it probably immediately makes sense. You can see it's on a football field. If you're a football fan, most of the game is played between the 20s, right? It's tough to get into the red zone. It's tough to score touchdowns, right? At least if you're an NFL fan, and kind of think about it that way. So between the 40s is neutral. Don't really have a strong bias one way or another. That might be cash flow type of plays, right? Between the 40 and the 20, whichever side, that's going to be we're moving the right direction. That's where I find myself a lot of time. I'm not a very aggressive person when it comes to trading and ranking things and stuff like that, myself at least. As we get into the red zone, we like it quite a bit. It's very rare that you'll find us that we will put the whole sector or the whole S&P 500 in the end zone. It's just a little bit more extreme than we are. It has happened a couple of times. It probably will eventually happen again, but it is very, very rare that we'll have the whole energy sector so bullish or so bearish, right? I might have an individual stock within that sector that I feel that way about, but I'm never going to feel that way about something so broad. And that's, I think that kind of trickles down to the other coaches as well. So kind of let you know how we're seeing the different sectors. If we like them a little more than last week, a little less, where do we kind of view them, going into the upcoming week? Another friendly reminder to, match your strategies to the situation, right? We might both like company ABC. You might just like it a lot more than me, right? And maybe you're right. Maybe I'm right. Hopefully we're both right? Maybe we're both wrong. But if we want to match that strategy to the situation. I don't want to be trading super aggressively if I have a very slow, I think there's going to be a slow grinder, right? So just a friendly reminder, there's a pre-built scan built in here as well. So if any of these particular areas, any of these sectors stood out to you for one reason or another, and you wanted to quickly take a look at some stocks within that space without having to go too crazy, you can we'll just do healthcare for fun here. This will bring you to a FinViz scanner. It is a free FinViz, so you will have to click some ads from time to time, but that's okay. It'll bring up a list of what I refer to as trader-friendly stocks. And what I mean when I say that is they've got good liquidity, so it's very easy to trade shares, very easy to get in and out of stock trades. They're optionable with options. You always got to double check. Most of them, I would say as a group, most of them are pretty reasonable to build option trades on. There are going to be some that I don't feel that way, at least, and maybe you feel a little bit differently, but they are all optionable, and at least the options tend to be liquid enough to go take a closer look. If you're not quite sure how to do that, the Options 101 course will help you on that side of things. You'd never want to get stuck in an illiquid option, right? And hey, if the options aren't there, I'll just go buy some shares, right? There's no rule that I can't do that. We can kind of do the bird's eye browse, right? We can kind of scroll down here, see if anything kind of catches our attention. Obviously, I don't know about you, but I could never make a trade off of these little tiny charts, but I can see, oh, look at MDT. It's got a very clear level of resistance, it looks like. Now I'll click on it. Now I'll click off the ad. There we go. I could take a closer look at the chart. Again, I wouldn't try to build a trade off of this myself. I wouldn't even dream of it. But I can see that, this is interesting enough that I'm actually going to go look at it in my charting platform, take a look back at its history, see if there's something there. So it can just be an easy way to find some setups, some charts that look interesting to you. You'll just hit the back to screener button. That'll take you back to the pre-built scan. We have them built for all of the different sectors in here as well. So just kind of that top-down approach. And it's, philosophically, and I 100% agree with this, that, taking that top-down approach and working your way down is the proper way to trade. Of course, beyond the newsletter, we've got the stock, options, commodity, and Forex report. Coach Cody does the Forex report for us almost all of the time. He does a great job. I'm not much of a Forex guy myself. I'm more of an equity guy personally. But that doesn't mean anything other than I am what I am, right? He does a great job highlighting the upcoming week in the currency market, highlighting the charts on the major pairs, does a lot of teaching in there as well. He does a lot of teaching. So if you've been interested in Forex, you will learn an awful lot about how to play that market from Cody over in the Forex report. So Cody does the Forex report for us. Coach Mark does the commodity report. He does that live in his Friday Mind of a Trader. It'll be recorded and posted here. We can kind of talk about, hey, what's going on over in the commodities market? What are the fundamentals looking like? What are the technicals looking like? What are the storylines looking like? The commodity market is a little bit of a different beast than the stock market in some ways. And so Mark does a really good job highlighting what's going on over in that area in his commodity report. The stock and option report are going to be built fairly similar to one another as far as how they're built. Of course, the stock report is going to be more specifically for stock trade setups and ideas. Options more specifically for options ideas. There can be some bleed over, right? If there's something I like in the option report that I just want to trade shares on, that's not going to be a problem. If there's something in the stock report that I like that I'd like to trade an option strategy on, I can always go look at the options. There's a good chance that they won't be there. That might be why it's in the stock report instead of the options report, because the option liquidity is just not something that we're comfortable with. But we really like the setup and would be comfortable playing the shares. But there will be times where you find something in the stock report that you're perfectly comfortable with the option liquidity. And so, my rule is you can always trade on things in the option report with stock if you want to. You can sometimes trade things in the stock report with options, but you always got to go double check that liquidity, which you should do anyway, no matter where you find a trade idea. If you're going to trade options, getting stuck in an illiquid option trade is no fun at all. Coming into the stock report, we'll highlight some trade setups coming into the upcoming week. And we'll also do a little bit of teaching. So coming into the week, we'll highlight some trade setups. We always try to put together both a bullish and a bearish watch list. So no matter what the market does, we have some watch list candidates going into the upcoming week. In the video, in the stock report particularly, we can really focus on the technicals, right? The option report, we're going to obviously the technicals are just as important to the trade, but we're going to talk a lot more about strategy selection and building those trades and stuff like that. The technicals are important for both, but just kind of the conversations that we're going to have will differ a little bit between the stock and option report. We can really just focus on the technicals here in the stock report, kind of let you know, hey, why is this here? Why do we like it? What are we looking for potential signals to give us the green light? Stop loss placement, targeting, can kind of walk through that whole process with members of our team. We'll go through that, of course, in the video. We'll also do a write-up, right? And we'll talk about a lot of different things this week. Over here in the stock report, Coach Greg talked about, dealing with choppier markets, right? And making sure that we're, not getting beat up because the market has chopped us a little bit lately, right? And that is what it is. We don't want to get beat up. Coach Tyler we'll always do some teaching over in the option report. So it's in addition to highlighting some trade candidates each week in these different areas, we'll also use it as an opportunity to teach share ideas with our team. We do in all of these, you've seen, our embedded charts. These are the trading view charts. So I'll just show you a couple things here really quick that you can do if you're not familiar with these. This one right here, this widget button will just hide the watch list to give you a little more chart to work with. Hit it again, it'll bring it back. Your indicators are up here. So if you wanted to add anything personally, when I'm in here, I only add the ATR, the average true range myself, because it is not going to save. So when I leave this page and come back, this indicator is going to be gone. Any lines I draw, they're going to be gone. It is not going to save. Just kind of a heads up there. Once you add your indicator, if you want to, make it bigger or smaller, you just kind of hover your mouse on the barrier between volume and the indicator, and then just hold the left mouse button down, and you can scrunch it up or down as you need to. You're going to have your trend line tool right here. This is where you can, draw your horizontal resistance or support lines. You can, of course, also, it's not going to be particularly applicable maybe, but you can draw your trend lines as well. If you don't need them, want to get rid of them, just left click it and hit the trash button. That'll get rid of it for you there. You're going to have your time frame. There's, default is set to a daily because we are, primarily swing traders here at Tackle Trading. But if we want, there's a, quick 1 minute, 30 minute, or 1 hour that we can go to. The little drop down here will give you more options as well. So say you wanted to go look at the weekly chart. Oh, hey, look, here's bam. They look even more interesting on the weekly, seeing all that old resistance that they're hanging out with, right? At least to me, we can scrunch it down. Maybe you don't like the hourly chart, maybe you like the 15-minute chart, right? As you're trying to maybe, construct your entries or, stop losses or things like that. So your time frame is going to be right here. If for whatever reason you're one of the folks that likes bar charts instead of candlestick charts, you can switch it over there. Most people do use candlesticks, but I do know a few people that like the bar charts, so whichever is cool with me. I can just zoom in with my mouse wheel, and that's going to do this, what I'm doing here. So I can zoom in and out. I can hold my left mouse button down. I can do that as well. If I hold my left mouse button down over in the pricing of it, I can, make it go up or down, so I can get it so I can comfortably work with it, right? Then you're going to have your prep tool right here. This guy right here is where we can prep longer short positions. So without getting too crazy here, this is just a little breakout candidate. Maybe I've got an entry set up at 40, just above 46. So I'll set where's my entry. I've got a target price in mind of $50. So I'll just set my target, holding the left mouse button down. Same with my stop. I'm going to put my stop right here. I'm going to put my stop right here. It'll let me know what my risk to reward ratio is. For every dollar I'm risking, I have $2.04 profit potential on this trade. So you can prep your trades. Saves me a lot of time just from doing math. I love this tool. I don't even imagine trying to live without it. But maybe that's just me and I'm that bad at math. But it is a handy little tool. Again, you can do the same thing on the bearish side, where you just say, hey, my entry would be here, my stop loss would be here, and my target, I have to zoom these guys up, is here. So you can prep on both sides. So handy little tool, at least in my mind. Again, you may or may not like these setups. They're always going to be technically based, right? And so, but we just want to highlight ideas. It's not about, what you trade, what you don't trade. It's about what you do trade. So you might, just like a couple, you might not like any, you might like all of them, right? Everybody's going to use it a little bit differently, but we do want to make sure that we're doing some scanning for you, that we're finding some attractive setups in the market for our team to work with each and every week. So that is a stock and option report. Again, the option report is going to be built very, very similar, right? We'll have the watch list. We'll kind of talk you through the ideas in the video. Again, whereas we can really focus on the pure technical, since we're talking just stock in the stock report, we'll spend a little less time talking chart and a little more time talking strategy and strategy selection over in the options report, because that part of it is very important as well. So always highlight some trade ideas going into the upcoming week. Again, you'll get all of these out to you by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to get through any or all of them. Don't be afraid to prioritize. Better to do a good job with one than a bad job with four, right? So you can always, work into them as the week goes on. But that is going to be a report. Again, those are exclusive to our pro members. As well. So, kind of wrapping all of that into a little bow, I guess. As a pro member, you'll have access to all of our courses. You'll have access to all of our live shows, be it the lounge, the coaches show, the cash flow club, the mind of a trader, maybe the women in trading. If you're a woman in trading, you'll have access to all of the archives. I mean, we've been doing this for a while, so we've had lots of conversations on all sorts of different topics. You can revisit over in the coaches show or the cash flow club, access to our weekend reports that we deliver to our team each and every weekend to hopefully save them a little bit of time and give them help build their watch list going into the upcoming week. So that's kind of in a super nutshell, kind of what you get there, Eli. Hopefully that clears that up a little bit for you. A few other things that I would just be quick to point out. We do a morning email every day, our Tackle Today email. If you don't get it and would like to, you can just go into Tackle Today. You can sign up for the email in there. If you would prefer just to read it in here, you can do that as well. It will get to your inbox faster than it'll get posted in here, but we'll post the daily email in here as well. You will find a link to all of our social media pages down here at the bottom. Obviously, we're on YouTube. We don't just do our live streams on YouTube. We have lots of other content over here as well. Lots of how-tos, what are's, tutorials, whole playlist on Thinkorswim, the Thinkorswim platform, and we're always going to be doing some more. So certainly, we'll see you probably over here at YouTube. Got a page over at LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and a Facebook group. So we do have our Facebook team members have a Facebook group where they can bounce ideas around with one another. I'm not much of a Facebook guy. I'm a Twitter dude. It's another easy way to share ideas with the team. I do a lot for the Tackle Trading Twitter myself. If I find attractive trade setups, I can take a quick picture and send them out. I let you know kind of upcoming earnings and things like that. So that's my, platform of choice. I invite you to join us at any of the platforms that you're using. Certainly extend that invitation to you. If you are already using those platforms, if you've been on the fence, maybe that can be the catalyst. I don't know. So if you don't have, if you don't like social media, I certainly understand that as well. Again, the huddle is each morning, just a quick top stories. You can listen to it, you can read it, you can do both. Tradingjustice.com will do the weekly podcast. You find that over at tradingjustice.com, as well as a monthly newsletter. Hopefully that explained a little bit. Really quick, just to kind of show you, the search function is pretty smart. So if you're ever looking for something, so just say a covered call, for example, one little more, information on that, never hesitate to reach out to us and ask. We're happy to do that for you. But sometimes the fastest thing to do is just do a quick search. I'm just going to scroll down here, tell it to show me all the results. And I'm going to find all sorts of things. We're going to find blogs on it. We're going to find, coaches shows on it, lounge topics on it. We're going to find all sorts of stuff. Yeah, covered calls kind of a cheating one, right? Because covered calls are a pretty popular strategy, certainly around here. But there is a good chance if you're looking for more information on a particular subject that this will help you find it. Usually it is the fastest way. Never hesitate to reach out to us. A lot of ways to do that. Send us an email, ask in our show, ask in the lounge, hit me up on Twitter or whatever. But sometimes the easiest way is the easiest way, right? And so if you can easily find what you're looking for here, that works great. So never hesitate to reach out. But the search function is pretty smart. Like I said, we've got a lot of content on pretty much, any trading subject. So very good chance you can find it in here as well. So that is going to be everything I really wanted to highlight here tonight. Hopefully, as we kind of went through the schedule, went through the courses, went through the reports, talked a little bit about the Trade Center. Hopefully, it kind of gave you a better idea of what's available to our pro members, why they like to stick around. Appreciate everybody who's a pro member, whether it's for a day or for a decade. We love our pro members. We always try to tailor our content to them. We always try to make sure that we are serving them the best as we possibly can. I love being part of the team. So I'll see you around. This will not be goodbye by any stretch of the imagination. You will see me on our YouTube show. Sometimes you'll see me in the other shows. You'll see me on Twitter, over in the clubhouse. So this will certainly not be goodbye. It'll just be good night for us this evening. But again, I do appreciate everybody's time here this evening, whether you're joining us live or catching the recording lately. Welcome to Tackle Trading. There will be a pin at the bottom of the video for a free trial membership for 15 days. If you want to take a closer look and see, kind of what all of this stuff actually looks like, we can get you set up. No commitment on a 15-day trial. If you would like to do that, feel free to do so. If you email marketing@tackletrading.com, tell him Frank sent you, maybe he'll give you a couple extra days too. He's been known to do that. So if you've been thinking about trying out pro membership, certainly no time like the present. I certainly invite you to do so. But everyone, it has been my pleasure. If there's no other questions, I'll let you get out of here tonight. Welcome to Tackle Trading. Great to have you here with us. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight, going through this site. Always, everything's always more fun with friends, right? So thank you for hanging out with me. Hopefully it cleared up what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it, all of that fun stuff. I'll let you get out of here, but I will see you all potentially on Wednesday. I'll be in the Trade Masters webinar. So maybe I'll see you over there. Certainly will. I won't see you Friday because it's Good Friday, so I will not be on the halftime report this week. But I'll see you next Friday. So, and who knows where else in between. So this is just good evening. Thank you so much. Welcome to Tackle Trading. Trade smart, trade within your systems, have fun, work hard. You know all of that fun stuff. And I will look forward to seeing everybody in the not too distant future. Thanks again, everyone, and